The majority of problems that people have, with some exceptions that are genetic, I'm sure, maybe 2 or 3%, I'm just guessing, come from the way they were raised. So when I hear a comment like, the reason that men don't trust women or women don't trust men is because of a bad experience they had in their relationship. No. You choose relationships based on what's familiar, what you think you deserve, and your way of being, which comes from your childhood. All right? So, if a boy may love his mother, and they do love their abusive, toxic, dysfunctional mothers who ignored them. They're trying to get her love and approval. But if you never felt appreciated, loved, supported, and seen as a child, those parts of your brain are dormant. You don't even know what to look for in a woman. Same for men. If you were entitled as a child, you were allowed to get away with things. You were given trophies even when you did nothing great. You weren't encouraged to challenge yourself. You were entitled. You were allowed to get away with whatever you wanted. You didn't have to be accountable or responsible. You may end up being a young man that plays video games all day. Yes, your parents are nice, but were they healthy? Did they give you good boundaries? They were abusive. There's so many parents who are abusive, and a lot of you guys might be watching my videos and going, well, these people just have problems because, you know, whatever, it's not their parents. Their parents are loving and kind. A lot of these loving parents are entitled people pleasers. When I was a young mom, and I read voraciously, there were books on helicopter parents, and it was a huge thing. I know the more rich the parents are, the more they got their kids in high school, internships on boards, got them into expensive colleges, got them a lot of tutors, made sure they had no chores at home. These kids were allowed to get away with everything because these parents were well-meaning, but they failed to set boundaries. Now, I'm fortunate that I sent my kids to Montessori school and I instilled a love of learning. I have 3 children and 1 grandchild, and my children have a love of learning. My children have a love of relationships. My children have a love of their careers and their personal lives. They value their health, their nutrition, their fitness, and they have a good relationship with me and with their father. They regularly spend time with me and with their father because they want to, not because we make them or they feel guilty or they're looking for our approval. My children and their significant others enjoy spending time with me. And I consider myself fortunate. I really have worked hard to not be controlling, to be supportive, and to see them for who they are as individuals, and also to push them and teach them boundaries. And that's where their dad was so important. And that's why dads were so important, because when they were super little, I'd be like, oh, you'll get hurt, don't do that. And my ex-husband would say, you can do it. And then I'm like, yeah, I have to encourage them to do it. That's what kids need. The majority of problems in this that people have come down to their parents who were either too permissive, and that's why these kids are still living at home playing video games, or too cold and mean and abandoning, and that's why these kids go for women who are abandoning, who cheat on them, who reject them. Another thing I saw, whenever I talked to someone who was bullied in school, every time so far, they were bullied at home first. And somehow they give out that signal of prey that other kids prey on. I've seen it so many times. There could be exceptions. I don't know everything. This is just what I've seen, and I love this stuff. I tune into this stuff. I don't know as much about this as someone who's been practicing therapy for 20 years, but maybe I know more than some people because I actually integrate things that I see and I look for things. And in the last couple of years, I have come to believe that who people are comes from their childhood. If they have rage attacks, if they feel hopeless, if they feel like a victim, It's what happened to them, what they saw happen, what they did and were allowed to get away with, how they adapted to their childhood home, because that sets up our brain. Did you know that the brains of traumatized people are actually dormant? A lot of parts of their brain are dormant. The prefrontal cortex and the amygdala, I think it's the amygdala that detects danger, is constantly active. They detect danger and abandonment in everything. And they can rage on you because they perceive threats that aren't there. It's all how our brains are developed. The good news is people can change through therapy. But don't give me the stuff that these people are just this way. I do not buy it for a second. I'm going to make a video later today, hopefully, about Labor Day and why we stopped really honoring what's wrong with our economy. That's also led to some of this stuff. However, like I said, my kids are functioning kids. They're out of the house. Like, they've been out of the house for years. My one son, who's in medical school, actually paid off the remaining undergrad student loans that he had, except for a small amount, so that the student loan thing that Biden is giving him, he's not even benefiting from it because it's almost all paid off. And my other son already has a down payment for a house. He isn't even 30 yet. Okay? And that's because, like, I wasn't perfect. Maybe my ex-husband was a better dad than I was. I think we were both pretty good, but I'm saying that children can be really functional if they have loving parents who are mentors. A parent is supposed to be loving and a mentor and have boundaries and teach kids responsibility and accountability and encouragement and see them. So when people are dysfunctional, I go right back to the parents, and you will be surprised what you find out about parents that goes on behind closed doors that you have no clue about. You will be surprised how many kids were sexually abused. You will be surprised how many people are smiling on their Facebook posts and they're already separated or about to go to divorce or in serious marriage counseling or experiencing domestic violence. You don't know what's going on in people's homes. But if you want to know what's going on in people's homes, look at their children. My children, in all their photos, they were glowing and beaming, joyful, happy, healthy. When I look at people's photographs with their children, I want to see, do these children look healthy and happy? Do they look sad or stressed out or tense? They're a reflection of what's going on in the home. I wish that my ex-husband and I would have had a better marriage. I wish I would have known then what I know now. I wish that we could have had a better relationship to model to our kids. And I was married to someone who didn't care about that, but it was good enough. You don't have to be perfect. You can be good enough. But some people are so dysfunctional, and their kids are the results of what happened at home the majority of the time. I'm sure there could be genetic exceptions if someone has autism or something like that. But otherwise, I'm going to pin everything on the parenting. And this is my channel. If you have evidence of something different, but I would need to talk to the kids and the parents to be convinced. I'm not going to go by, oh yeah, but these parents seem very nice. No, I want to talk to them and dig into it and find out what really happened. And a lot of people will tell you their parents were perfect because people are very protective of their parents and they don't always know what they didn't get, especially emotional neglect. That's all I have for now. And yes, I am wearing something.